What's up, everybody? It's Ivan with Trouts Fly Fishing, back with the forecast for March 26th. I want to welcome you officially to spring. That happened over the last 2 weeks, so that's cool. Obviously, spring in the Rockies, we can get a lot of what we're getting now, which is a mixed bag, but fishing is getting better. Bugs are starting to move around. Fish are happy. They're moving into different kinds of water, and it's good. It's a little bit more stimulating. There's obviously a lot to be said for winter fishing, but I like spring fishing quite a bit more. So before we get to that, I wanted to talk to you about this. The current released in the last couple of weeks. This is our shop magazine. We're actually doing a sweepstakes now through the end of the month, so 3/31. If you come in and pick up a copy of the current, or if you order one online, which it's free, you do have to pay for shipping, you get entered to win a 2-day guided trip for 2 people up out of our Frisco location. Additionally, you get a 1 night of lodging. So pick it up, check it out. There's a lot of good stuff in here. We're super proud of it. So that's number 1. Number 2, we need to get to the burns, the roasts from the couple or 2 weeks ago. So for those prizes, I know you guys were wondering what I'm going to do for the prize packs. You guys were so nice on there. I just decided I was going to throw you guys a Trouts ball. So a Trouts ball to the top 3 comments. Congratulations, you guys. You guys did a really good job. Also, you get like a hat and like a buff, but this is the real prize, you know. So I'm going to go through, read a couple of the comments. I thought there were some really good ones, and I appreciate you guys roasting me pretty good on there. We're going to start number 1, Anthony. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Zato, maybe? Too bad that camouflage jacket can't hide that COVID-20 you've packed on. I want to just, for the record, Anthony, it's a COVID-15, but it's a good joke anyway. So, Anthony, you get a prize back. Make sure to email me, Ivan@troutsflyfishing.com. Edward Hogan, old Ed, said I like to throw olive kind of jacket, which I found very offensive, but it got a lot of likes. It, made me chuckle a little bit, so that also gets a prize pack. And then the last one is Riley Ellsworth, and I have nothing against Texas bass fishermen, but sometimes you got to look the part. And he said, you look like a Texas bass fisherman who shows up to the boat ramp for trout ready to rip some lips. So there we go. That's the top 3 comments. Appreciate you guys roasting me in the comments. That was entertaining for the last 2 weeks. So big shout out to everybody who left a mean comment. Y'all are truly special, and it really have a place in my heart. So there we go. That is the prize pack. Let's get to the actual forecast. We're going to talk bugs, flows, and weather. Let's start with bugs. As it starts to warm up, big spring midge, tinier midges are still playing a role, but we're going to start to see blueing olives. We've seen some adults on the surface here and there. They're also playing a big role subsurface. Caddis are going to become more active. Stoneflies are still molting. You have a lot of things happening. Streamers are producing good fish. You're getting fish on dry flies. Those midges and those bluings are starting to play a bigger role on the surface. So a lot of things to look at. I grabbed 5 bugs, and I'm going to start with a streamer. This is the mini dragon. And I'm going to showcase the mini dragon for one reason and one reason only. So last week or a week and a half ago, I fished with Brian Hilbert on the Colorado, and I forgot my entire streamer box. And this was the only fly. This and the Crelex were the only fly I had with me. So I threw this fly. Turns out it works. Caught plenty of fish. Has some flash, has some marabou. 2 of the things I like the most. It's just a standard sort of articulated streamer. Throws really well. It is a little bit heavier, so it does get down pretty well, but it's got a great profile, moves some water. The mini Dragon Bond is nice because it's not overly big, so you're gonna, I think with some of the smaller streamers, you can get into bigger number stays and still target bigger fish. So I like the mini Dragon Bond. The Hot Belly PT. This is a favorite, especially like on the Arkansas, the Colorado, and the Eagle, with blue wings playing a bigger role. Mayflies Mayfly imitations are a good option this time of year. This can also sort of look like a caddis, but I really fish it like a mayfly. So that's a good option, especially on those freestones. With Caddis becoming more active, a old standby, the guide's choice hare's ear. Hard to beat something with soft tackle. The hare's ear is already a good fly, and then you add soft tackle. It's almost like cheating. Got a red rainbow warrior. This does a good job with those midges. The midges this time of year tend to be black, but I like the red rainbow warrior in the springtime. Just has a je ne sais quoi. That's French. Shout out to my French teacher, Madame Kennedy, from 9th grade. I remembered those things. So it has a little bit of extra juice. I don't, with the midges this time of year generally being black, you think it's an odd choice, but the rainbow warrior simply produces, and this in the red is a great option. And then finally, I chose the tungsten brassy. I love the brassy. It's a classic pattern, super productive on the South Platte. The tungsten brassy helps your flies get down. This would be a really good fly if you're throwing 3 flies. You might throw it as a second fly to sort of help get everything down. So you might throw like a bigger leech or a guide's choice hare's ear, and then throw this as the second fly, and then maybe throw a pupa or something like that. So good option, tungsten brassy. Those are the flies. Let's get the flows. Bugs, flows. Yeah, flows. How do I forget this every time? Flows. On the freestones, we're starting to see a little bit more variability. We've seen a rise from the standard base flows in winter, so sort of to be expected, obviously, with a lot of those snowstorms that have passed through over the past couple weeks. A lot of low elevation snow melt, or low elevation snow is going to melt, and you're going to add some water into the system. It's something to keep an eye on through this time of year. If you get big bumps, it's a lot of cold water going through the system, and it tends to muck things up. So that means you're going to be fishing bigger bugs in slower water. But for the most part, if it's relatively steady, you're going to start to, that water is going to start to warm up, and you're going to start to see, those caddis be moving around, the blue wings moving around, and that sort of stuff. So keep that in mind when you're looking at those hydrographs. I saw it on the Colorado, the Arkansas, and the Eagle. You just sort of see, like, earlier this week is lower, and now it's a little bit higher, but it's sort of evened out. So it's to be expected this time of year. On the South Platte, flows are still in those, we're still in those lower flows. I will mention, so I think it's like 40 something coming out of Cheeseman, but down near Deckers, you're seeing a lot, sort of a higher flow, and that's those inflows, the low elevation snow melt. You're seeing some of that cold water sort of get pushed into the river. And so, you don't necessarily have to carry a thermometer. I don't always carry a thermometer, but pay attention to how the water feels. So if it feels super cold, generally those fish are going to be less active because the bug life is going to be active. So if you can feel that temperature difference on your skin or through the waders, it's something to keep in mind and sort of target different water types. So if it feels super cold, target the slower water where the fish are going to be holding a little deeper. Otherwise, you're going to start to see them sort of move in and get into the riffles, eating blue-wing olives, nymphs, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the flows. Let's get to the weather. Looking at the 10-day forecast, it looks like you're going to have some warming weather over the weekend. It's going to get cold and snow Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and then it's going to get back to that spring weather. As I mentioned, sort of run-of-the-mill spring weather in the Rockies, both here in Denver and Deckers, and then up into Vail. It's sort of following that same pattern, so we don't have any separation from what we are expecting down here and up there. It's obviously a little bit colder up there, but sort of run-of-the-mill stuff when it comes to the spring weather. I think we were sort of punched in the face a couple times with some of those snowstorms. A brutal reminder that winter doesn't necessarily loosen its grip as fast as we'd like, but obviously all snow is good snow here in Colorado. It's always good to have snow. It's always good to boost up that snowpack. It's never a bad thing. So expecting good spring fishing over the next couple weeks. I like spring fishing. I hope you like spring fishing. We'll see you here in the shop, on the water, up in the Frisco shop. As always, you can find us at troutsflyfishing.com. Bye-bye.